Hello, Booktube. Had a sobering Steve moment yesterday. I was out doing errands with my muscular teenagers, and we came across an electronics store where they wanted to go in and see something new that was sick or disgusting or any of the adjectives they use for what they most like. And they were all carrying these big uh, caffeine infused sugar shakes that Starbucks sells in big plastic buckets. And people wonder why Americans are. Anyway, they were all carrying those, and electronic shops naturally are a little bit leery of people coming in with highly acidic buckets full of liquid in their hands. So it was decided that since I had no interest in being in the electronics store, especially since all of my electronics are in the shop, thanks to these very same boys, uh, it was decided that I would sit outside. There was a bench right there. I thought I would sit outside. I would hold their buckets, one of which was empty by that point, while they went in and browsed. And because I had a book that I was reading and annotating for review next month, so they went in and I sat down and I was holding the cups all together by the rims in one hand, and I was reading the book with the other hand when a passerby stopped, walked back, and dropped coins into the empty cup. Proving, I suppose, that no matter what kind of a sweater you put on flyaway hair and smallpox scars, the impression they convey is still the same. Naturally, the boys had a great deal of fun with the fact that I successfully panhandled without wanting to, suggesting that maybe this was an alternative career I might look into. So I thought today, in order to recover what's left of my dignity, we would do a mail haul. We'll start with this little thing from Grey Wolf Press. They do odd things at Grey Wolf Press, but often very intelligent, often very interesting. Uh, yeah, see, this is, I don't even know what this means. This is due in early September, and it is called The Complete Ballet. The Complete Ballet, and the subtitle is A Fictional Essay in 5 Acts, which is contradictory in 3 different ways. So essays don't have acts, essays aren't fictional, so I had no idea what this could possibly be. In The Complete Ballet, I have no idea what it could possibly be, except for one thing, which I know for sure, without knowing anything about it at all, which is that the author is a little too clever for his britches. That never bodes well. It might work with the hipster Brooklyn crowd who doesn't know from clever, but it doesn't bode well with people who who beg for change from a living. In The Complete Ballet, John Haskell choreographs an intricate and irresistible pas de deux in which fiction and criticism come together to create a new kind of story. Something wrong with the old stories of fiction or criticism? Or is it that you can't do it? Could that be it? Are you masking incompetence with impatience? Like I see every single day? Is that what you're doing? John Haskell? As the unnamed narrator revisits his past, when his daunting gambling debts pushed him to the edge of his own abyss, he simultaneously inhabits and reconstructs the mythic stories of ballet, assessing along the way the lives and obsessions of Nijinsky and Balanchine, Pavlova and Fontaine, Joseph Cornell, and the film director John Cassavetes. Who is John Haskell when he's at home? Let's see. He's the author of a story collection, I Am Not Jackson Pollock, and the novels American Purgatorio and Out of My Skin. His stories and essays have appeared on radio and in anthologies and many magazines. He lives in, say it with me now, Brooklyn. Okay. All right. Well, that comes out in September. It is a fictional essay in 5 acts. Okay. All right. Let's move on, shall we? Let's see here. What is this next one? It's from Turtle Point Press. Which sounds kind of small. No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But let's see. See, now this is perfect. All right, well, judging just by what I'm seeing here, this could also be a fictional essay in 5 acts. So the form that Richardson and Fielding created, the form that Cervantes and Austen and Tolstoy perfected, the fictional form, that's not good enough for you. And the essays that have a long and storied history, that's not good enough for you either. It has to be, you have to do a mashup, just like you see on YouTube. And what will you say to the previous generation of essayists, or the one before that? What will you say to E.B. White? Well, the essay was good in your day, Pops. Okay, all right. Anyway, this is Havana Without Makeup, Inside the Soul of a City by Herman Portocarrero. As Cuba and Havana begin their uneasy emergence from Castro's shadow, the EU ambassador to the island, Herman Portocarrero, so he's an ambassador, offers up Havana Without Makeup, an essential exploration of the city that takes readers beyond the kitschy, crusted Chevys of the 1950s to get at the soul of a singular place, a city full of contradictions that he calls the world's most sensual ruin. I kind of like that. That's kind of nice. Why does this city of dilapidated buildings and crumbling infrastructure captivate all who experience it? Oh, all right, I'm sold. These are good. These are good descriptions and even better questions. Okay, all right, great. This comes out in August. That is Havana Without Makeup. And if you've ever been there, it suits it to a T. Why does it captivate everyone when there's nothing there to captivate? All right, let's move on. What's this next one? Oh, good. All right, it's a double of The Beginning of Politics. Social and scriptural exegesis of the Book of Samuel from the Bible, which is I haven't got to. Of course, I just got it, so I haven't got to it, but I'm greatly looking forward to it. And did I mention? I think I didn't mention. I was too busy kvetching against fictional essays in 5 acts. I forgot to mention this. This does end with a box, so there's light at the end of your tunnel anyway. All right, what have we got here? Oh, fantastic. All right, this comes out in mid-June, and this is Knife Creek by Paul Doran, the author of The Poacher's Son. I don't know if you can see there, but those are boars down the river drinking, a boar and some piglets. I remember reading the description of this because that actually turns out to be key. It's not just, it's an incredibly evocative cover, but it doesn't just turn out to be evocative for the sake of evocative. It's actually about the wild boar problem in Maine. Let's see here, what am I getting? It's really good. He's really good. He's a really good writer. When Maine game warden Mike Bowditch is tasked with shooting invasive feral hogs that are tearing up the forest in his district, he makes a horrific discovery, a dead baby buried in a shallow grave. Even more disturbing, evidence suggests the infant was the child of a young woman who was presumed to have died 4 years earlier after she disappeared from a group rafting trip. As Bowditch assists the reopened investigation, he begins to suspect that some of his neighbors aren't who they seem to be. It's a Maine thriller. It's a wilderness thriller. That's fine by me. And we have this thing. This is big and heavy. This is our last thing before the box. What is this? Goodness gracious! Look at the size of it. Look. What have we here? Something that's going to make Steve squeal. Big things tend to. Unless they're big piles of crap. Maybe essays in 5 acts. Because, the old forms, come on. I've got all sorts of new things to say. Oh, good. Oh, my. Oh, very good. All right. This comes out in late May. Oh, look at the size of it. Good Lord. It is by Kathy Scott Clark and Adrian Levy, and it is The Exile. It's the years of Osama bin Laden's exile, the stunning inside story of Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda in flight. For almost 10 years following the attacks of 9/11, Osama bin Laden, the most wanted man in the world, evaded intelligence services and special forces units that spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to kill him. That should say U.S. intelligence services. Pakistani intelligence services knew where he was from the first minute. Our allies in Pakistan knew where he was from the first minute, this man with 3,000 American lives on his hands. It's only when he wasn't profitable anymore that they gave him up. Accidentally gave him up. Surreptitiously gave him up. But they knew his whereabouts. Anyway, I'll save it for the review. Using remarkable first-person testimony from Osama bin Laden's family, his deputies, and military strategists, and Al-Qaeda wives and children. Oh my God, that must have been dangerous reporting. Oh my. The Exile reveals in intimate detail the frantic starburst of fighters as the United States pounded Afghanistan, and how the Bush White House found out where the bin Ladens were hiding out, but rejected chances to seize them in favor of pursuing war in the Persian Gulf. The book charts the formation of ISIS by Al-Qaeda-sponsored Abu Musab al-Zarqari and the wasted opportunity to kill him. It reveals bin Laden's determination to remain in control even when his children were dying as a result of his actions, and how he came to believe members of his own family were being used against him. The reader is taken inside the Abbottabad house before the raid, where it came to feel like the engine room of the Titanic, inside the CIA torture chamber through exclusive and chilling testimony from the detainee around whom the CIA's torture program was built, and into Iran's secret shelter for other members of bin Laden's family and Al-Qaeda's military council. Lord, who are these two people when they're at home that they could do this kind of reporting? That's incredible. They're acclaimed investigative journalists and authors of several books. For 16 years, they worked as foreign correspondents and investigative reporters for the Sunday Times and the Guardian. And they live in London. Wow. Okay. The Exile. I will be reviewing it for the Christian Science Monitor, and now I can't wait to read it. All right, and then we've got this last one here. This one is not going to come quietly. It's packed tight. This is the box. So who knows what could be in here. Let's see. We have some sort of sheet to help Steve along. Oh, ooh, it's a thriller. It's a thriller. It's a Killing Files by Nikki Owen. Oh my, an ominous head in black silhouette. This is from Blackstone Publishing, and it comes out in August as a trade paperback original. Okay, good. You know, on this channel, I like those. I wish everything came out. It's a really nicely designed, small print run trade paperback for $15. So you don't have the overhead cost of a gigantic 60,000 run hardcover first printing. You don't have that at all. You don't need to touch those presses. You can just put out a much smaller run, a run that's roughly analogous to the sales you can expect, and just hope that it sells out instead of, instead of over-leveraging yourself and creating this massive financial locomotive with its own momentum that you can't do anything about until it ruins your own industry. No, instead, pick a book like this. It's a well-designed thriller, and print 10,000 copies. That's all. Print 10,000 copies, and plus you've got the ebook. Ship the 10,000 copies to the remaining bookstores in America, and see what happens. And maybe that's unrealistic, but it's a subject for a whole other video. But I really think the American publishing industry is going to die because of how top heavy it is. It is totally unprepared to have all of the essentials on which it's built done for free in other media. And if that's true, you're in, well, anyway, let's get back to the Killing Files, shall we? Let's see here. Okay, so this is a follow-up to the Project trilogy, and the first book was Subject 375 from 2016, which I don't have, so I should probably ask if I can get a copy. Fans of the first novel will find The Killing Files, the second book in the Project trilogy, carries on the same electrifying twists and riveting pace as it becomes clear to Dr. Maria Martinez that no matter how fast you run, the past always catches up with you. Only in murder mysteries. It's actually very possible to outrun the past in real life. But where would murder mysteries, where would thrillers be without that line? Well, Maria is out of prison, exonerated from a murder she still doesn't remember. But even though she's a free woman, she's on the run. A file exists, and the contents of it mean life or death for her. And members of the Project, the ruthless underground organization that framed her for murder, are after her because of it. To escape their grasp, she must find the file and retreat to the safety of her family home in Spain. Little does she know that this might be the most dangerous place of all, and that to survive she'll have to keep one step ahead. Okay, well, not exactly free of cliches, was it? But as I've said on this channel before many times, it will depend on the energy of the writing. These things, thrillers are cliches. That's what they are. So, great. Okay, so we have The Killing Files. We have, very excitingly, The Exile, about Osama bin Laden in exile. Oh my, oh my. We have Knife Creek. Feral pigs and worse than feral pigs. We have a second copy of the beginning of Politics. We have Havana Without Makeup, enticing seeming book about the city of Havana and its peculiar allure, and The Complete Ballet, a fictional essay in 5 acts. So there you have it. That is a not at all homeless book haul. Thank you, Booktube.